Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Miata working on a baby shower sign, an acrylic sign to be specific, in Canva, and then I'm going to use my Cricut to cut it out. So these are the texts that I've made. These are the fonts. The first one was Afra, Welcome to is Bright, Baby Peyton is done in Versailles, Baby Shower is done in Bright as well, and then the date is also done in Bright. So we're going to be saving this down as an SVG file so that I am able to manipulate the lettering and cut the way I want to in Cricut. Now you do have to have a subscription to Canva in order to cut it down as SVG. Transparent background as well, that's important. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Design Space, and I'm going to be uploading my project that I saved down previously. Just did the letters separate. I do have images to go along, but I felt like this was a little bit easier. This is what my sign is going to look like, so I'm going to use this as my guide. I'm going to make the sign white just for optics. I'm going to change the dimensions to 27" because that is the diameter of the acrylic sign that I have. Okay, I'm going to send this back, and then I'm going to play around with the lettering. So resizing here and just moving it around. Okay, so that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and manipulate the lines individually. So I'm going to group every line together. So the oh baby is going to be grouped together. The welcome to is going to be grouped together. Baby Peyton's is going to be grouped together, and so on. All right, so the way how I do that is over here in my side panel, I'm going to be hitting control and then not lifting, don't lift your finger off control, but press the letters you want to be grouped together, click weld, and they will be welded. I was going to say attached, but that's different because that's also an option. So weld it together. So they're together. So they are together permanently. All right. Like I said, I'm going to continue on for each line, and we'll get back into it on what happens next. Okay, now that it's all welded together, I'm moving it back over to the signage so I can see where I want it to be placed. The tricky part about like the baby Peyton, I do want them to be on the same line, but I don't have a long enough board to print it on the same line, so I did have to separate them. So they're not welded together. The baby's welded, and then the Peyton's welded separately. But I did adjust the line and the positioning using the positions in the X and Y axis, and the Y axis is what I adjusted here. All right, so I'm going to be pulling in some of the graphics now. This was also an SGV file created on Canva. Gonna bring it down to size here. This is going to be a little bit of a project here, just trying to group all of the individual pieces together. I'm gonna start with the big pieces like the reindeer, which is gonna be pink. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the color now. And then I'm going to also, the old baby is going to be pink, probably, maybe. Yeah, I think so. So just wanted to, just for optics, and also so that when I print out using the vinyl of this color, I know which is which and what word is what word and all that. All right, so I am going to also be changing the other lettering. Baby Peyton and the date is going to be in silver vinyl. So I'm going to do that there. Then I'm going to just move the other little things. So this snowflake, or this, I call it the snowflake chandelier, had a lot of little snowflakes, they called it, but little snow pieces, you know, I deleted those. They were just too much. I wanted to clean it up. I'm going to clean up this other snowflake as well, just deleting out all the noise. And I do that by clicking on it in the panel and clicking delete, and then it's gone forever, which is what we want. All right, we're going to weld the snowflake pieces there, and then we are going to move it to the board. And I'm going to weld this snowflake chandelier as well. Move it over. And then I'm going to just kind of play around with the positioning because I just kind of want to visualize it. Although I can change it once I print it out, I just kind of want to know what I'm going to be doing, what the game plan is. All right, so I'm going to be rotating some of the pieces because I imagine that I'll have it layered on the board. So this will help me, you know. All right, let's move over to the snowflake. This is going to be layered. This is going to be interesting because I'm kind of going to be a beginner with this Cricut, but I think it'll be fun. So I'm going to move the ornament over. Well, I started to move everything over, then I realized that just move, like, it doesn't need to be moved. So I'm going to be just making sure the colors are correct. So for example, the little hook on the top of the ornament, I am going to be printing it on black vinyl, so I'll change that to black. And the little details in here is going to be printed on white, so on and so forth. So just adjusting it there. And then once I like it, I'm going to attach the snowflake, or weld it together, sorry, because that's not going to come apart. And then I'm going to move the shadow part of the ornament, or the, I guess, actual ornament part back over to the details. And then I'm going to attach this whole thing. And I want to make sure that I attach it and not weld it, because at some point I need to detach it so that I can print it out separately, because it's a layered piece here. All right, so let's move it back to the board. And I only attached it so I can move it back to the board and see just optically what it's going to do, where it's going to be when I print it out. Okay, now that we have everything how we want it positioned and size wise, we're going to just clean it up a little bit, making sure everything's the right color and there's no mistakes. I don't want to get confused when I'm printing it out. Deleting all those other words because I've actually printed them out previously, and I'm detaching the ornament and separating it because they're going to be print separately. And these are the cutouts. All right, starting with the pink vinyl. I'm going to be combining these two 12 by 12 mats, the standard and light grip, sorry, not grit, not sanding, but this is the pink vinyl. It's like a pastel pink. I'm going to choose that setting, put my fine point blade in my machine in the B clamp, secure that vinyl, press it down, and then I'm going to load my mat. And look at this. Do you see it on the right? Yep, it's coming up. I had to kind of adjust things a little bit because that mat wasn't working. And then I'm just checking to make sure everything's all good, being nosy, and I think I'm good. Let's go on to the next piece. This is going to be a silver vinyl for the top of the ornament. I just need a small piece there. And then I am going to print the others. All right, I'm going to be transferring the letters, but first I have to weed. So this is a white Oh Baby because I wasn't sure. So I printed this out a couple days before. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a white or the pastel pink, and I decided to go with the pink, but still I'll just show you how the process I used to weed and apply my transfer tape. So pretty straightforward there. Moving on to the ornament, which should be a lot of fun. I don't have parchment paper, which a lot of YouTubers recommend when layering Cricut designs, but I think I can do this. So I'm just going to attempt it here. Somehow I was able to put that snowflake in the center. And I think I was okay with it. And just excuse my hands here. They are working women's hands. So yeah. So here we go. This is the decal there, and now I'm going to be applying the silver ornament top. And I know what you're thinking, shouldn't the shadow go underneath that? Well, yes, you're right. So I made a mistake here, and once I realized it, I had to come up with a plan to get it off. And I just try to use my weeding tool. It was a little bit too sharp, but I didn't really have any other option. So now I'm going to be reapplying it to my transfer tape and then applying the shadow for the ornament properly where it belongs. And I'm going to continue on with my decal for the top that's been ran through and place the ornament hook and then all the other details. All right, now we have our acrylic circle. This is a 27-inch circle that I got from Amazon. And I just peeled off the protective layer there. I'm using this Cricut mat as my guide. I'm going to be ordering a larger mat in the future to help me. But you do need something to kind of just help you line things up. And I'm placing all of the lettering kind of where I expect it to be placed, so that I can just have a visual before I apply the vinyl. So there's what I want. I'm going to be using this tape method where I just tape the middle part, apply 1/2 so that once it's applied, it won't move. So it's exactly where you want it. You position it perfectly. So now the other side can easily be laid down. I had some trouble with that A there, but I got it to lay down eventually. So I'm just going to continue on like that, just kind of measuring in between because I don't have a large measuring mat. But yep. When applying transfer tape to the layered vinyl, it actually doesn't rip it off. I kind of thought that it might. But anyways, I'm going to prepare my snowflakes. I'm going to be applying them on the back of the acrylic sign because I want this layered look. And I'm also going to be cutting off the edge because I want it to look like it's kind of flowing off. Here's what the sign looks like completed. Stay tuned for part 2. I'll be showing you some other designs for the same baby shower.